March 9th, 1945, 10:47 p.m. Tokyo's crowded Shitamachi district hums under a moonless sky, wooden homes packed tight like kindling in a fire pit. A distant drone pierces the night, faint at first, like the buzz of angry hornets swelling from the east. Air raid sirens wail, but the civilians below stir slowly, accustomed to false alarms. No one yet knows that hell is descending from 7,000 feet. In the dimly lit war room of the Imperial Japanese Navy headquarters, Admiral Soemu Toyota leans over a cluttered map table, his uniform crisp despite the late hour. Cigarette smoke curls upward, mingling with the scent of green tea gone cold. Reports from reconnaissance pilots have trickled in for months, whispers of a colossal American bomber, the B-29 Superfortress, capable of soaring above 30,000 feet, beyond the reach of Japan's anti-aircraft guns and Zero fighters. Toyota's aides murmur updates, their voices laced with skepticism. "It's propaganda," one captain scoffs, adjusting his spectacles. "The Yankees boast of machines that defy physics, 4 engines, pressurized cabins, remote-controlled turrets. But our defenses are impenetrable. Let 'em come." You could almost hear the collective chuckle rippling through the room, a mix of arrogance and denial forged in years of early victories. Pearl Harbor, Singapore, the Philippines, these triumphs have bred a belief in Japanese invincibility. The B-29, dismissed as a bluff. Intelligence briefs describe it as a behemoth, wingspan longer than a city block, bomb bays vast enough to swallow entire factories. Yet, to men like Toyota and his superior, Admiral Minechi Koga before him, it's mere shadow play. Their high-altitude runs from China bases have yielded nothing but failures, Toyota declares, his finger jabbing at marked positions on the Pacific chart. Mechanical gremlins plague them. Engines overheating, navigation errors. Our radar nets and fighter squadrons will swat them like flies. But doubt lingers in the quieter corners. Subordinate officers exchange glances. They've seen the photos smuggled from Saipan where American forces captured bases within striking range of the homeland. The Marianas Islands, fallen in bloody assaults the previous summer, now bristle with runways carved from coral. Major General Curtis LeMay, the iron-fisted commander of the 21st Bomber Command, has taken charge. Whispers circulate of his relentless training regiments, pushing crews to their limits in the sweltering heat of Guam and Tinian. LeMay's B-29s, nicknamed Superforts by their pilots, are no myth. Each one costs more than a battleship, engineered by Boeing with innovations like the Norden bomb sight and Wright R-3350 duplex Cyclone engines. Yet, in Tokyo's command posts, these details are waved away. Vaunted defenses, Toyota repeats, echoing the propaganda fed to the masses. Japan's balloon bombs drifting toward America, their submarine carriers, the kamikaze pilots, these are the true weapons of the divine wind. Shift to the American side, where the dismissal fuels a grim determination. On the tarmac of North Field, Guam, earlier that day, ground crews swarm over the silver fuselages of 334 B-29s. The air reeks of aviation fuel and sweat. Captain Robert Morgan, a veteran pilot, checks his harness in the cockpit of his plane, Dauntless Dottie. The mission brief is stark: low-level incendiary bombing, stripping away the high-altitude pretense that had hampered previous raids. LeMay's gamble: fly at 5,000 to 9,000 feet, under radar, loaded with M69 napalm clusters designed to ignite wooden structures. "This isn't precision," LeMay had growled in his cigar-chomped briefing. "This is area annihilation." The crews, bundled in flight suits against the chill of altitude, feel the weight. Many are young, barely out of training, haunted by tales of B-29s lost to mechanical failures or Japanese flak. Back in Tokyo, as the clock ticks toward midnight, the first waves approach. Searchlights stab the darkness, but the bombers are too low, too fast. Anti-aircraft batteries open up, tracers arcing like fireworks gone mad. Civilians scramble into shelters, the ground trembling under the approaching thunder. Toyota receives the alert via teletype. Enemy aircraft sighted, numbers unknown. He straightens, issuing orders for interceptors to scramble, but deep down, a flicker of unease. Could the reports be true?
The Superfortress, once laughed off as an overblown Yankee dream, now roars into reality. The first bombs fall, igniting the night. Flames leap from rooftop to rooftop, a chain reaction of horror. What happens next will shatter empires.
Explosions ripple across the skyline like thunderclaps from a vengeful god. From the bomb bays of the lead B-29s, clusters of M69 incendiaries tumble free, small hexagonal canisters packed with napalm gel, designed to burst on impact and spew flaming jelly in a 100-foot radius. The wind howls through open hatches as navigators peer down through Norden sights, their faces illuminated by the glow of instrument panels. Below, in the labyrinth of Tokyo's working-class neighborhoods, families huddle in makeshift shelters, the air thick with the acrid scent of fear and impending doom. General Curtis LeMay's strategy unfolds with brutal efficiency. Gone are the high-altitude precision strikes that plagued earlier missions from bases in China, operations marred by jet streams scattering bombs wide and engines faltering in thin air. LeMay, a stocky figure with a perpetual cigar clamped in his jaw, had revamped the 21st Bomber Command upon his arrival in January 1945. "We're not fighting a war of chivalry," he barks to his staff on Guam. "This is total war." Stripping the B-29s of defensive guns to lighten the load, he packed them with 40,000 pounds of incendiaries each. Flying low, under 10,000 feet, evades radar and flak while exploiting Japan's vulnerability. Cities built of wood and paper, tinderboxes waiting for a spark. You can feel the vibration in the airframes as the Superforts press on, wings flexing under the strain. Pilot Major Thomas Farabee, aboard one of the Pathfinders, adjusts course amid searchlight beams slicing the dark. "Target in sight," he radios back, his voice steady over the intercom crackle. The first wave hits the assembly area, a dense grid of homes, small factories and warehouses in the Asakusa district. Bombs detonate in sequence, flames erupting in brilliant orange blooms. Winds whip up, fanned by the inferno's own heat, creating a firestorm that sucks oxygen from the streets. Civilians emerge screaming, clothes igniting as they flee toward canals swollen with March meltwater. In the Imperial Navy's war room, chaos erupts. Admiral Toyota grips the edge of the table as aides shout updates. Multiple contacts, low altitude, incendiaries confirmed. Interceptors from nearby airfields scramble, Nakajima K-44 Shoki fighters roaring into the night sky. But the B-29s are ghosts, their low profiles blending with the horizon, engines a muffled thunder. Captain Shigeru Itaya leading a squadron of Zeros vectors towards the incoming stream. "They're too fast," he mutters into his radio, throttling up to 350 knots. The Superfortress, with its 2,200 horsepower radials, outpaces them at cruise. Sporadic bursts from .50 caliber turrets, remotely operated by gunners scanning through periscopes, downing a handful of pursuers. Ground defenses falter. Anti-aircraft crews man 81mm guns and Type 88 75mm cannons, shells bursting harmlessly above the bombers' paths. The city's fire brigades, depleted by years of war, mobilize with hand-pumped hoses and bucket lines, but the blaze outruns them. By midnight, a 5-square-mile swath burns uncontrollably. Women clutch children, racing through alleyways choked with smoke. The elderly stumble, collapsing in the heat. Temperatures soar to 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, boiling canal water and melting telephone poles. Eyewitnesses later recall the roar, like a freight train barreling through the soul, as superheated air creates updrafts that lift debris skyward. Aboard Dauntless Dottie, Captain Morgan banks away after his drop, the updraft jostling the plane like a leaf in a gale. "Mission accomplished," he signals, but the crew stares back at the glowing horizon, a sea of fire reflecting in their eyes. LeMay's orders were clear: no mercy. This raid, codenamed Operation Meeting House, deploys 1,665 tons of bombs in under 3 hours, the most destructive single air attack in history. Casualties mount. Over 100,000 souls perish, many asphyxiated in shelters or trampled in panic. 1 million more are left homeless, their world reduced to ash.
Toyota receives fragmented reports via field telephones, districts vanishing, communications severed. His face hardens, the earlier scoffing silenced by the reality unfolding outside. The B-29, once mocked as a lumbering giant, has proven its fangs. But as the last bombers turned for home, leaving trails of exhaust in the smoke-filled dawn, a deeper dread takes hold. This is just the beginning.
Dawn breaks over Tokyo like a reluctant witness, the sun rising through a pall of black smoke that chokes the horizon. Charred timbers crackle underfoot as survivors pick through the rubble, their faces smeared with soot and streaked with tears. The firestorm has consumed 16 square miles, an area the size of central Manhattan, leaving behind a wasteland of twisted metal and ash where vibrant communities once stood. Bodies lie in contorted poses along the Sumida River, where thousands sought refuge only to boil in the superheated waters. The stench of burned flesh mingles with the metallic tang of destruction, a sensory assault that etches itself into the memory of all who endure. In the ruins, Emperor Hirohito's subjects grapple with the unimaginable. A young mother, clutching a singed doll, wanders dazed through what was once her neighborhood in Koto Ward, calling for children silenced forever. Firefighters, their uniforms scorched, haul hoses through debris, but the inferno's remnants smolder on, defying containment. Official counts will later tally the dead at over 100,000, with injuries surpassing 40,000, figures that eclipse the immediate tolls of Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Yet in these first hours, the scale defies comprehension. Radio broadcasts, controlled by the military, downplay the raid as a minor incursion, urging resilience under the banner of the Yamato spirit. But whispers spread. The Americans have unleashed a dragon from the skies. Back at Imperial headquarters, Admiral Soemu Toyota convenes an emergency council amid the acrid haze seeping through fortified windows. Maps, once marked with confident advances, now bear frantic annotations of the night's losses. The B-29s came low like demons in the dark, reports a shaken liaison from the Army Air Defense Command. Toyota's earlier dismissal rings hollow. The Superfortress, with its pressurized cabins allowing crews to operate without oxygen masks, and its defensive array of 12.7mm guns, has proven not just capable, but devastating. Intelligence officers pore over debris, fragments of unexploded M69 canisters, confirming the incendiary's design, magnesium casings with napalm, timed to scatter submunitions that ignite on delay. The Admiral's voice, steady but strained, issues directives: bolster night fighter patrols, accelerate production of the Kawasaki K-102 Interceptor, disperse urban industries. Yet his eyes betray the truth. The mockery has vanished, replaced by a cold calculus of survival. You might imagine the weight in that room, the air heavy with unspoken defeat. Prime Minister Kuniaki Koiso, summoned urgently, absorbs briefings on the raid's efficiency. 279 B-29s returned safely, with only 14 lost to mechanical issues or flak, a mere 4% attrition rate. LeMay's innovation, shifting from high-altitude daylight precision to nocturnal area bombing, has exposed Japan's Achilles heel. Wooden homes, paper screens, crowded densities all amplified the conflagration into a self-sustaining tempest. Civilian morale, already frayed by rationing and conscription, teeters. Underground presses circulate tales of the fire raid, fueling quiet dissent against the war's architects. Across the Pacific, in the operations tent on Guam, General LeMay reviews reconnaissance photos snapped by follow-up B-29s. The images reveal a blackened scar across Tokyo, validation of his ruthless pivot. "If this doesn't force a surrender," he mutters to aides, exhaling cigar smoke, "we'll burn every city to the ground." Crews exhausted from the 15-hour round trip recount the updraft's fury shaking their planes, the glow visible from 150 miles away. Medals will follow, but so too the moral reckoning, whispers among bombardiers of the human cost below. The Superfortress fleet, now unchallenged, gears up for Nagoya, Osaka, and Kobe. Operation Meeting House marks the dawn of a campaign that will incinerate 67 Japanese cities, displacing millions and hastening the end. In Tokyo's smoldering heart, a lone Zero pilot, Captain Itaya, surveys his wrecked airfield, his earlier pursuit futile against the bomber's speed. The skies, once dominion of the rising sun, now promise only unrelenting doom. Toyota, staring at the horizon, realizes the war's tide has turned irrevocably. But as Allied planners eye further strikes, a final question looms. How much more devastation before capitulation? Section 4. The Path to Capitulation. As the ashes settle over Tokyo's scarred landscape, the Imperial Japanese leadership confronts a new reality forged in fire. In the fortified bunkers beneath the Imperial Palace, Emperor Hirohito convenes his Supreme War Council, the air thick with the residue of defeat. Maps unrolled across lacquered tables reveal the raid's toll, essential war industries gutted, supply lines severed, civilian resolve fracturing like brittle glass. Admiral Toyota, his posture rigid, presents the grim assessment. Air defenses overwhelmed, fighter squadrons depleted, the B-29's reach extending to every corner of the home islands. No longer a dismissed phantom, the Superfortress looms as an omnipresent harbinger, its shadow eclipsing the sun emblem of empire. You can sense the shift in the room, the once unyielding confidence crumbling under the weight of evidence. Foreign Minister Shigenori Togo urges diplomatic overtures, his voice a measured plea amid hawkish protests from army hardliners like General Korechika Anami. The Americans have weaponized the sky itself, Togo argues, referencing intercepted cables that detail LeMay's escalating campaign. Nagoya falls next on March 11th, its aircraft factories reduced to slag. Osaka follows, then Kobe, each raid a symphony of destruction orchestrated from Guam's command centers. By summer, 60% of Japan's urban areas lie in ruins, the incendiary offensive claiming 500,000 lives and rendering 8 million homeless. The B-29's innovations, central fire control systems coordinating turrets, advanced radar for blind bombing, render traditional defenses obsolete. On the American side, momentum builds with mechanical precision. At Tinian's Northfield, engineers fine-tuned the fleet, addressing early teething issues like engine fires through modified cowlings and fuel mixtures. Brigadier General Haywood Hansell, LeMay's predecessor, had clung to precision doctrine, but LeMay's firebombing ethos proves mercilessly effective. Crews rotate through missions, their logbooks filling with names like Tokyo Rose for planes that survive flak-riddled skies. Sergeant John Smith, a tail gunner on Enola Gay, later infamous for Hiroshima, recalls the psychological toll. We saw the fires from miles out, like the earth itself was bleeding. Yet orders persist, driven by Washington's imperative to end the war without a costly invasion. Operation Downfall, the planned assault on Kyushu, looms with projected casualties in the millions. LeMay's air campaign offers a bloodier but swifter alternative. In Japan, the acknowledgement spreads beyond command posts. Kamikaze pilots training at remote bases hear tales of the Bisan bombers evading their suicidal dives. Civilians, rationed to mere ounces of rice daily, endure bamboo spear drills preparing for guerrilla resistance. But morale erodes. Black market whispers of surrender grow louder amid the rubble. Toyota, reflecting on pre-war intelligence that underestimated American industrial might, issues futile countermeasures. Radar-guided interceptors like the Nakajima K-84 Hayate rushed into production. Underground factories burrowed into mountains. Yet each B-29 sortie, now numbering in the hundreds, chips away at the facade. By July, mining operations from superforts seal naval ports, starving the nation of oil and food. The turning point crystallizes in August. On the 6th, Colonel Paul Tibbets pilots the Enola Gay over Hiroshima, unleashing Little Boy, an atomic culmination of the B-29's terror.
Nagasaki follows on the 9th, Fat Man dropped from boxcar. Toyota, receiving the reports in a haze of disbelief, recognizes the endgame. Soviet invasion of Manchuria compounds the agony, shattering illusions of mediation. Hirohito's intervention, his jewel voice, broadcast on August 15th, announces capitulation, the first time most subjects hear their emperor speak. The skies, once mocked as unconquerable, have dictated terms. In the aftermath, as occupation forces arrive, the B-29's legacy endures, a weapon that bent a nation without boots on the ground. LeMay, promoted to orchestrate the Pacific Air War, later reflects on the moral ambiguity. For Japan, the fire raids scar generations, fueling pacifism enshrined in Article 9. The arrogant dismissal of 1944 yields to history's judgment, a cautionary tale of hubris meeting innovation. But in the quiet of rebuilt Tokyo, one wonders at what cost victory.